Jonathan Lee Riches, aka JLR, Justice for Summerwells, Justice for Summerwells. I'm reading a report right now that just came out by WJHL. They've been on top of this case from the beginning. Kudos to them. They just interviewed the Hawkins County District Attorney, Dan Armstrong. He is the prosecutor that is overseeing the Summerwells case. He gave an interview to WJHL. I'm going to read you this article. This is great, and it brings a little bit insight of what's going on behind the scenes in reference to the Summerwells investigation. Title of the article: District Attorney General speaks on Summerwells case for the first time. On the night of June 15th, 2021, that's the day Summerwells went missing, Dan Armstrong, District Attorney, called in the Tennessee Borough investigation to help with the search efforts of Summerwells. So the District Attorney called in the TBI for help. Almost 10 months later, with no real developments, this case is unlike anything he's ever worked on before. The sheriff will contact other law enforcement agencies, but under the way the TBI is set up, I have to make the formal request to the TBI, Armstrong said. So the sheriff in this particular case, which would be Ronnie Lawson, he had called and asked for help from all agencies and then called me, and I asked the TBI to get involved. So the TBI being involved with the case of Summerwells, that was because the district attorney, Dan Armstrong, called them for assistance. That's how that process works there in Tennessee. Every state is different, by the way. The long-spanning search for Summerwells can feel like a blur, but the night of June 15th is clear as day to Armstrong, just as the call to issue the Amber Alert the following day. So when Summerwells went missing, the actual Amber Alert was issued the next day, June 16th, by the way. An Amber Alert is where a child is missing from either the person that's supposed to have legal custody of them or their parents. So we put out the Amber Alert to alert everyone, including citizens, Armstrong said. No one has been charged in relation to Summer's disappearance, but that doesn't mean the district attorney is not currently involved. It's a case that has implications for the legal system and law, but you couldn't classify it right now. There are no criminal charges that have been filed, Armstrong said. My role is basically just to be an advisor if any legal issues come up in the search. Who to talk to, how to go about doing that. I am kept briefed periodically, not every day, but periodically, and just available to provide any legal assistance that they can. So he's there. He basically, his office provides guidance, any legal matters to the agencies out there. I'm assuming TBI and Hawkins County Sheriff and the other agencies that have been looking for Summer. There's been lots of them. I mean, I've read that this has been the biggest search in Tennessee history for a missing person. Summer's older brothers were put into protective custody, Child Protective Services custody last July, but no charges have been filed over the removal. However, her father, Don Wells, is serving time in the Hawkins County Jail over a DUI and violation of probation charges. Don Wells, as we all know, has been serving a 11-month, 29 days in the Hawkins County Jail, Hawkins County Detention Center for probation violation. The DUI, I think it was just like a couple days, but the probation violation. He's eligible to get out of there in 6 months. Will that happen? So it's been February 7th since he went in. So February, March, April. So we're talking, he's only been there over 2 months now. 2 months. So he got at least 4 months to go, at least, if he gets out at that 6-month minimum. He might end up spending the whole time. But, I've said in other videos that Don Wells might never get out of jail, for reasons they could be holding him now, so they can build the case. And then before he gets released, Don gets charged with something in reference to the Summerwells investigation or the boys. Because remember, the boys got taken away, and there could be charges about, child abuse and neglect and anything in reference to the boys. And that could be charges there. And then while those charges, and he's sitting in those charges, but he'd probably bond out or get bond at that point, but maybe he doesn't afford it. They could continue to build another case. So they could just keep stacking legal stuff on him to put the pressure on him. And Candus too, and Grandma. Whoever was at that house that witnessed any abuse of the boys or neglect or, incest or child abuse, anything that happened. And, go back to my videos. Former friends of Don and Candus Wells has spoken to me on the record, me and my group at the time on the record, about bad things that were happening at the home of Ben Hill Road in reference to children. I believe them. I believe all of them. I think they were all telling the truth. They were very detailed. So we're hearing a lot of bad things. No one has been charged with anything yet. But statute of limitations do exist for a couple years on cases. With Summer's case, that would be forever. There would be no statute of limitations if a murder is involved. Got time to build a case. It's been 10 months. It's a very complicated issue that has been made more complicated by the players in this drama, Armstrong said. Armstrong declined to comment about Don Wells' legal troubles. Interesting that Mr. Armstrong said drama. We all know that Don and Candus Wells have drama. I've used that word. Go back to my previous videos. I've used the word drama a lot. It's just 24/7 drama and chaos with this family. Just all kinds of things that are going on. We're talking animal abuse, and we're just talking about the we've heard them. We've seen them on YouTube. We've seen them yell at each other. We've heard stories. We've listened to Jose. We've listened to Dudley Ajon. We've listened to people that know them firsthand and said what they've seen. We've heard it out of their own mouths. We've seen Candus drunk online. We've seen the bad things. It's just constant drama. The 911 calls, just within the last 5 years, there's been tons of them. One just recently at the home, when Don Wells allegedly pushed Candus into a washer and dryer, threatened her. The DUI stuff that Don Wells had when he was came back to the mountain drunk. It's just drama. It's just drama. He said the possibility of a charge and arrest could happen at some point. That's where I want to emphasize on. He said the possibility of a charge and arrest could happen at some point. So, they're under investigation, and I totally believe Hawkins County Sheriffs and TBI are building a case right now. Whether it's circumstantial or direct evidence, they are building a case against Don and Wells. And I believe down the line that Don and Candus Wells and or both, and maybe other players involved, are going to be charged with what happened to Summer Wells. They're going to be charged. It just takes time. Trust the process. And I totally have faith. The WJHLs just spoke to the detective, Hawkins County Detective John Pruitt, yesterday. So John Pruitt comes out yesterday. Now Dan Armstrong comes out today. These people are coming out, and I think they're coming out to show the public, hey, we're still working hard. We're still working to try to find out what happened to Summer Wells. And, Mr. Pruitt yesterday vowed that he will not let this case go cold. Let's go. We made ourselves available to both the Sheriff's Office and the TBI to advise them as to the consequences of the next step that they're proposing to take and how we can do it to where if there is eventually a prosecution, said Armstrong. What they gather will be something that we can introduce in court, make sure we cover all our bases. So, he's saying, he's advising, the law enforcement agencies that are investigating, and when they bring something to him, he will decide what and if charges he will consider. Like he said here, if an arrest ever does take place, that's what Armstrong will look at, what charges can be filed. If it ever goes to the point where we already consider charges, then of course they would talk to me about what charges and who to charge. And a case like this would generally go to a grand jury. Grand jury investigates felony type cases, and go in front of them. You guys know about the probable cause, and the stories that any grand jury will indict a hand sandwich. So, if it goes in front of the grand jury, there's probably 99.9% chance that the person will get indicted. Person or persons will get indicted almost all the time. Grand juries indict. Even though he stays in touch with law enforcement about what they're at in the investigation, Armstrong is almost at a standstill in his particular role. We follow leads as they come in, and so at this point, you're basically down to just following whatever leads come in and following up. Maybe trying to backtrack and do things you did before to see if anything comes of it. End of article. So you heard it. I mean, they're there. These authorities and players, major players in this case, that were behind the scenes that we didn't really know about. I didn't know about Dan Armstrong. I made a video previously. We talked to a prosecutor, in a Hawkins County prosecutor. We went in the prosecutor's office. I looked at her in the eyes, and she vowed that they're fighting. So I guess this is her supervisor. But the office there, they're fighting. They're fighting justice for Summer. They're going to get answers. Have faith and confidence in this. It's going to happen. I truly believe it. Justice for summerwells. Have faith in our law enforcement. Back our, Hawkins County Sheriff and the TBI. They're great, agencies. I have total trust and confidence that these people will solve this case very, very soon. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So if you have any information about the whereabouts of summerwells, please contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation at 1-800-TBI-FINE. Justice for summerwells.